another dump run today. What's the temperature? 56 degrees. Subscribe to Pwalpar. It won't hurt nothing, it's free. I spent a lot of time today watching more fishing videos. I think maybe that means I need to get out and go do some fishing. Kind of hard to buckle your seatbelt when your shirt is blocking the way. It is a pretty day in Georgia today. People drive down this road, coming and going from wherever they've been or wherever they're going. And almost every day somebody throws their trash out here in the yard. I'm surprised not a whole lot of hamburger papers and Coke cans out here. And again, maybe the wind blew them all away during the night. It was pretty windy. I've been thinking of projects that I could be working on. I got one project I want to do. I want to make myself a blacksmith forge, just something to tinker with. I used to do a lot of basic blacksmith work when I was working with the railroad. We needed to make a brake rod or a part. We usually forged it ourselves, made it ourselves when we didn't have one. We used to make uncoupling levers, grab irons, you name it, we made it. We didn't have a forge though, we had big old heating torches. But what I was driving at, I'd like to make a coal-fired forge. And I've got an old stainless steel barbecue grill on the back porch that I haven't disposed of. Burners are all burned out of it. I just went out and bought a new barbecue grill, put it on the front porch. But I'm thinking I could take all the guts out of that and at least use the legs and table part of the stainless steel grill for a stand to hold my forge in. Yeah, I might be able to use the gas valve, maybe some of the gas lines that are on it, if I have a gas fed forge. If I supply it with coal or coke, all I need is a blower. And I've got an old vacuum cleaner out there in the garage that I saved for just that purpose. I knew I wanted to make a forge someday, so I kept the vacuum cleaner. Got one heck of a motor in it, and I believe I could adapt a blower that would blow enough wind to flip the lid off that thing. And whether it works or not, I could make some videos of it. Might turn it into one big flop. But it's a project project I could consider working on. Oh, I'm doing exactly what somebody mentioned the other day, driving in the fast lane. With the new law in Georgia, you move over. Nobody really pays attention to it. You're supposed to stay in the right-hand lane unless you're passing. Driving along here talking and daydreaming. See that red arrow up there means you can't turn left. When it turns green, you can go. Not too long ago, it turned green and I went to go, but that other light over there was red for them to be stopped. The fella took off from that middle lane because he saw me going. He thought it was time to go. Rammed right into somebody. School buses are out here running. Come on, ladies, let's go. In your little Accord. Probably daydreaming. Now, I wouldn't know about that. I don't daydream. Yeah, believe that lie, I'll tell you another one. I was the world's worst as a child for daydreaming. I mean, I did some serious daydreaming. I recall once I'm going to say I was in the first or second grade. One of the teachers talking. I'm daydreaming. I'm up walking around the back of the classroom thinking of something else. Leaning out the window, looking around. She snuck up behind me with a paddle and whooped me right on the rear. I dang near fell out the window. But when you're daydreaming, you're not paying any attention. It's almost like sleepwalking. You ain't paying no attention to what's going on around you. I had a teacher one time, a science teacher, in about 7th or 8th grade, and for some reason I had got out of my chair and was standing at the back of the room looking at the bulletin board. I guess I was daydreaming. He threw a piece of chalk at me so hard if it would have hit me, it would have hurt me. It hit the bulletin board right beside my head and made a big old dent in it. I got the impression he didn't like me up walking around in his classroom. I went and sat back down. Wasn't long after that I had a run-in with that teacher. I'm going to tell it. He was crazy. He just, I don't remember his name, but he was crazy as a bedbug. And I was doing my usual thing, daydreaming. I was on the first row of pupils in the classroom, and I realized he was talking to me. I'm sitting at my desk. What did I say, Walter? And I had no idea what he'd been talking about because I wasn't listening. And I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and said, I don't know. He flew into a tirade. He did not like me shrugging my shoulders at him. And all I was implying was, I don't know. He ran to my desk, grabbed me around my throat, and started choking me. I mean, he didn't give me a chance to get out of my desk. He was choking me. Shaking me, said, how dare you shrug your shoulders at me? I'll throw this garbage out and I'll finish the story in a minute. I get so tired of hauling this damn trash over here. Not really, I'm just making conversation with a man. Oh. Back to my story. Well, I wasn't a small kid. I'm about, what, about 8th grade, I guess. I got free of his clutch. Got out of my desk and headed for the front door. Where you going? I said, I sure ain't staying here. You're crazy. I went out the front door. He'd follow me down the hall. Where you going? I'm going to the principal's office. We're going to see if my dad can come down here and have a discussion with you. My father wasn't no small character either. He was like 6'5", 6'6", weighed about 300 pounds. I went to the office and told the principal, I said, call my dad down here. I want to see my dad right now. What are you talking about? I said, that teacher tried to choke me. We're going to have a discussion with my dad. They called him, and I told him what was going on. He said, ain't nobody going to choke you as long as I'm around. He came to the school. We proceeded up to the guy's classroom and called him out in the hallway. I thought, uh-oh, my dad's going to kill him. Well, they had a downright serious discussion. My father told him, you ever put your hands on my kid again, me and you going around and around. And he definitely had a mental problem. I don't think it was probably a year or two later that school got rid of him. There's a certain degree of punishment a teacher should be allowed to dish out. Physical violence ain't one of them. And there were some seriously violent teachers we had when I was a kid. Most of them were just stern. You couldn't say anything about them being cruel or anything. It was not uncommon to get a spanking or have one teacher take a ruler and smack the back of your hand or something. That was acceptable behavior. But the violent stuff, I decided nobody was ever going to hurt me again. Had a teacher one time, I raised my hand to go to the bathroom because I had to pee. Wouldn't let me go. And that was in like maybe 4th grade. I sat there until I began to pee my pants, and the class finally got over with. I had wet pants. So I got up and got out of the classroom. I decided that was never going to happen to me again. And the teacher wouldn't let me go to the restroom. By God, I'm going to get up and go anyway. That ain't never going to happen to me again. I'd rather get a whooping than I would be embarrassed walking around done wet my pants. Most schools had a hall pass thing. They just give you a hall pass and you could go. I finished up my conversation today talking about smoking cigarettes. I was in a 12th grade. It was about a week or two before graduating. We all slipped off to the bathroom to have a cigarette. And I was considerably taller than the other students in the bathroom. There must have been 20 of us in there smoking cigarettes. It was between classes. You had like 5 minutes between classes. The band teacher walked in, and he was a short little dude, shorter than most of the students. So he walked in the front door, and I didn't see him come in because I was higher than them, and all I could see was heads all over the place. Next thing I know, he done got me by the scruff of the neck. We were going to the office. Everybody else wisely ditched their cigarettes. And I was caught red-handed. Carried me down to the office, and it was time for final exams to graduate from high school. I told him, I don't want to, they was going to talk about expelling me. I said, I don't want to get expelled. I got all my final exams coming. I'll tell you what I'll do. I was always knowing how to talk my way out of trouble. You ever catch me smoking in this school again, I'll quit. You won't even have to worry about me taking no test. I guess they figured, well, he's pretty serious about it. They let me go. Of course, they knew I had to get my final exams. But I went the rest of the year without smoking at school. Wound up smoking 50 years out of my life. And now I'm paying for it. Quit a few years ago, and I really don't miss it, but I sure enjoy smelling somebody else smoking a cigarette once in a while. Well, not much of a vlog today, but I got out and went to the dump and talked to everybody again. Thanks for tuning in, my friend.